I figured I'd do another video today just to piss off Johnny down there and wherever the hell he is, hiding behind his keyboard, writing to everybody but Santa Claus about how he doesn't like me publishing more than one video a day. You know what I have to say to him, right? Go fox yourself. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys into my secondary studio and show you my archiving setup for a 3/4 inch tape. So check it out. So I'm working out in the dungeon tonight. This is the place where equipment goes to die. This is some of the collection of crap that I have to work on, where I collect some of my stuff. This is my storage unit. What do we got in here? We got tape decks, CD players. Even got that's an old Texas Instruments TI 994. Look at that, huh? Isn't that kind of neat? Old school computer. I don't know if it works anymore. Probably doesn't. There's the old TI 994A console with a Betamax machine on top of it. Actually, 2 Betamax machines and a VP1000 player. Got a nice stack of old VCRs in here. How's that for an old record player? Yes, it's a Westinghouse. Now that piece is old. Very old. This was my grandmother's, out of an old radio console that she had with a slide-out record player. This is all that's left of it. I wish I still had this. But someone decided around 1970 that this would be much nicer if it was turned into a liquor cabinet. So everything was gutted. I salvaged the record player because it still worked, and it would play 78s. I don't know where the spindle is. It's around somewhere, but this is the auto. You put a stack of records on. This is what told it when the record was at the last one. And if you were putting 45s or 78s, I think it was 78s, the 10-inch records, you put this down. And this would actually push the records over. There's my Macintosh vacuum tube amp with my AM stereo ghetto blaster sitting atop it. Dot matrix printers, I got them too. This one's a Panasonic 24-pin dot matrix printer. Yes, it still works. I should drag this out and drag out an old computer and print something on it. Old modems, we got them. This one is the Courier dual standard. Made in USA. Wow. Can you believe someone threw out this nice Sony 21-inch Trinitron CRT television? Anyway, the reason I'm in this place right now is because I have some Cable 10 Vancouver Cable TV 3/4 inch tapes that I'm archiving, and my 3/4 inch equipment is actually stored in this storage unit. I have a little studio set up here just for my 3/4 inch stuff, which I don't use all that often, but I do need to use it from time to time, and the machine weighs like 80 pounds or 70 pounds. It's just too big to lug around, and I don't use it enough to keep it in the house. And that's the machine that I'm using right there. It's a Panasonic. This is the same one that greets you on every video showing the tape unloading. This one hasn't been used in a while. Let's turn it on. I just took the top off it because I know that I'm going to have to give this thing a helping hand. I know for sure that when I load a tape, it's probably going to need me to give it a hand to load, because it's in, it works, but it's not in the best of shape. It needs some belts, which I don't have, and I'll have to order them, but the loading belt was slipping the last time I used it, and I'm sure it's not any better. It's not any better than the last time I used it, which was about 3 months ago. So this is the first time this thing's been fired up in months. I figured I'd bring you guys along and show you the archiving process, which is really quite simple, because this machine is just plugged into my DVD recorder, and we're going straight to DVD. So there's the giant cassette. This is a 60-minute tape. There's two 30-minute programs on here, so we'll hit the eject button. This is actually one of the machines when I was working at the cable company. This is actually the machine that I got fired over. The tape got stuck to the capstan shaft and wound up around the capstan shaft. So of course I was told to try to remove the tape, so I unraveled the tape from the capstan shaft. The machines in the studio didn't have tops on them because we had to clean them on a regular basis. So yeah, that was my crime. So I'm going to hit the play button, which is the forward button here, and we'll watch what this does. And say I'm going to probably have to help it because I know it's probably going to stick. But let's just load it up, and I will just give this a bit of a hand to load because the belt is slipping a bit. But once it loads, everything should be good. Now I can start the DVD up. This tape, nice squeaking. That's the tape cassette, and it's an old black and white program called Between Sets. Where's our sound? I don't hear any sound. Oh, there it is. Black and white show. Wow. I'm archiving these old tapes. You can see how bad this tape is. This was recorded in like 1974, back when the cable guys were only shooting in black and white. But this is, priceless footage that is being archived. So normally we adjust the tracking control to maximize the RF. But as you can see, I am maximized. This tape is so old. Normally this is like 4 or 5 up in the green. The RF output on this is so low. Oh, Charlie Mingus! Holy shit, he's dead. He was a fantastic bass player. I might keep a copy of this myself. This is really interesting stuff. This is interesting stuff. This old archive stuff. Wow. Yeah, all I can say is that it's good that it's good that we're getting this archive now. They're going to interview these guys. That performance was just a little bit at the beginning. This is actually a talk show, but it's good that we're getting this stuff archived for the owner of this content, who is the producer of it, who brought it to me, because with the shape that this tape is in, see, July 19. This one's 1976. This one, the last one I did was 1974. But anyway, yeah, it's good to get this stuff off of this tape because as this tape is deteriorating, there's not much left. The tape is self-erasing, which is what happens with magnetic tape after it's been sitting around for a long period of time. The actual signal level on the tape itself starts to deteriorate, and then once that happens, well, then we start to see the noise. The noise starts to come up. We're seeing some dropouts here. Nothing much can be done about that. That's just the tape itself. At least this one's not affected by sticky shed. A lot of these tapes, this is Sony tape, I believe. This one, had this been on an Ampex tape, well, we may have had more problems trying to play that, because the Ampex 3/4 inch tape, anyone who knows 3/4 tape knows Ampex made just horrendous tape. It was horrible stuff. Anyway, when I archive, I'm always archiving to DVD-RW discs, which I'll finalize here on this little Toshiba DVD recorder. And I'll finalize it on here, and then I'll take it in and I'll copy it onto a DVD-R. The reason I do that is because if something messes up, right, if the heads clog or something buggers up while I'm making the recording, I'm not going to make a coaster. I can stop it, erase it, fix the problem, and go back and start archiving again. Whenever you archive this old equipment from these old archaic machines, you have to expect that there's going to be problems, just because this stuff is ancient. But I love the old 3/4. Look at the size of that head drum. It's amazing that this machine still works. This machine here, it dates back to, I think, 1979 or 1980, somewhere in there, this particular one. This order also has some of the smaller tapes which went in the portable recorder, the Portapack. And for those I'll be using this one here. This is a VO 4800, which is my 3/4 inch machine. This is a little bit newer. This one here would have been early 80s, this machine, but it has far fewer hours on it than the other machine. So the smaller tapes I always do in this one just because it's newer, tends to have a little better tape handling, a little better picture quality. When I worked at the cable company, or the cable station, we had I think ours was the 3700. This is the 4800. We had a Sony VO, or maybe it was a 3800. We got it in about 1980, and we had a Panasonic 9200. Same machine that I've got here. In fact, the machine I've got over here, I believe, came from the station that I work for when they upgraded to beta. They had the 9200 and the 9850 editor, and we did a lot of our field production on the predecessor to this model. This is one of my early machines when I started doing professional stuff. Before I went to Betacam, I was shooting 3/4. This would have been probably, I think I bought this machine, I think it was around 1980, I'm going to say 85 or 86. I forget, but it was the first real professional piece of equipment that I bought, and I paid over $5,000 for this machine. There's the battery that this portable recorder uses, and this battery weighs about 5 pounds. The battery alone, it's ridiculous how heavy. This thing's heavier than my camcorder. It's about twice the weight of the camcorder. When it's put into this unit here, this whole unit here weighs about, I don't know, 20 odd pounds. It's not light. And you had a camera that was plugged into the camera connector here, which you carried around on your other shoulder. And I tell you, when you carried one of these things around all day, like I did a few times, at the end of the day, you're about 2 inches shorter than when you got up in the morning. These were real backbreakers, this equipment. Most crews, they would have 3 people. They'd have a cameraman carrying the camera, they'd have a VTR operator just carrying this, and then they'd have a sound guy carrying the mixer plugged into the audio input on here, right? So that all 3 of them would be tethered together, and you'd go out in a 3-man crew, because this was technically possible for one guy to carry everything, but man, oh man, I mean, you were dead. You carry this thing around for a few hours, and yeah, you were ready to call it a day. Also found an old cassette recorder. Wow, this is pretty old. This thing's got to be 40 years old, at least. What this was used for initially was, this was the storage medium for my old Texas Instruments TI 99.4 before I got the expansion pack and the disk drives. We stored our programs on cassette, and that is what this is from. So this would put this 1980, I'm going to say 82, 83, somewhere in there. But that's what I got this for, storing programs on a cassette tape from back in the day before we had disk drives, if you guys can even imagine that. Okay, you guys want to see something that will make you say, oh my god, no way? This is memory from an old computer that I built. 8 megabytes of memory. Check out the price. $102.50 for 8 megabytes of RAM. There's my old VHF function generator, marker generator, that I haven't used in eons. Probably forget how to use that damn thing. It's been so long since I've used it. This is a remote control for an SL-HF 1000. Had the jog shuttle dial, so you could do all your editing. Everything could be done from the remote control, and it had a door that closed up over here so you could hide the controls. But yeah, that's the SL-HF 1000 remote. I've got 2 of these because I've got 2 SL-HF 1000s. I think he's smoking a joint on TV. There, the show's over now, so gotta stop the tape and start it up again. But old classic community programming from 1976. Anyway, I got a couple of other CRT TVs. Maybe we'll drag these out and get them going. They all are in some state of disrepair. So maybe we'll drag these ones out and get them going in future videos. Anyway, I just wanted to show you guys my little conversion setup for the older, more obsolete formats that I do in my secondary workshop, also known as my old ham radio shack, although I don't have any equipment set up in here anymore other than the video gear. The only stuff that's set up in here right now is the 3/4 inch equipment, and the rest of the area I'm just using just for storing equipment awaiting its day to be serviced. And there's a fair bit in here. As I dig through this stuff, I'll take them down to the workshop and we'll make some more videos. Tape's done. My poor old recorder. I know I'm going to have to help it again. Oh, look, the standby light comes on, but it's not moving very well. The belt is slipping big time. Now I can rewind this. These tapes rewind pretty quick. Anyway, that's it. We're done. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.